Hey you guys, there's been something that's been on my mind within like the last month, especially within the last week or two. Um, and the topic's about being there for someone. Uh, the past few weeks, I've been there for one of my buddies. He got in a car wreck recently, so I've been trying to make myself available and trying to be there whenever he needs, as a ride, as a friend, just to be there for him. And sometimes when you kind of put somebody else in front of yourself, you get into the position of you feel like you're always giving and never getting. Now, he hasn't really done this to me per se, but when you're in that position where you're constantly making your schedule available for someone else, you're constantly giving to someone else, you're constantly doing something for somebody else other than yourself, subconsciously, your mind wants to tell yourself that you should be getting something back in return. And that's not always the case, and it not always should be the case. As a human being, we always like to give, but historically, we always like to give and get. Um, Now, having said that, it makes you fundamentally a better human being and a better person down to the core when you try to give and give and give and be the best version of yourself that you can be without having this perceived notion that you should get something back in return. Now, there's been times when I have fallen into this thought pattern, constantly thinking, why am I doing this for everybody if I'm not getting anything back? Why am I always being there for all my friends? Why am I always doing this? Why am I always doing that? And the thing you have to like sit back and realize and understand is that not everything is really about yourself in every situation. You don't understand what someone else is going through. You don't understand what limitations other people have on their life or perceived limitations that they think that they have going on in that certain time or moment. Um, Now, the same thing can be related to working out. Like people put on these set limitations with a certain weight or certain exercises when they see it and they're like first like, oh, I can't do that, and then turns out they can't do it because they had the thought before that they can't do that. The same thing goes with helping somebody out. You tell yourself, oh, I can't do this for you, bro. I can't do this for you, man, with the perceived notion of thinking that something's too far out of the way for their own personal selves. Now, if you're really someone's friend, if you're really going to be there for someone, it doesn't matter what is in the way. Having said that, if you have priorities, jobs, schoolwork, etc., that's fine. But one thing I'm really trying to get at here is that distance per se, gas per se, like that's all physical, not physical, but like limitations that you're setting. They're excuses. They're excuses that you're setting to help, to not help your friend out. Now, one thing with like being there for someone or like just subconsciously helping someone is like being that person that's always there for their friends no matter what, being there, the person that's always trying to do everything for everybody else. That person might think to themselves like, well, I'm doing this for everybody else, there's no one else there for me. And no matter like what's going on in your life, what road bumps are ahead, like what's going on, you feel like you have nobody to turn to. You have like this pent up feeling in your solar plexus, and you feel like you might be like on the verge of anger, on the verge of tears. You just don't know how to express it or what's going on. Now, with all those friends that you have, you can still turn to your brothers, sisters, mom, dad, hell, like your other friends that you're helping out or the friends that you aren't helping out, like the ones that are there for you. You can just turn to them, send them a text, shoot them a call. Maybe it's late at night, you still send that text. You might not get a reply, but they're gonna read that in the morning and they're gonna see it, and if they're really your friend, they're gonna reply to it, and then that's how you know. And if it's not, if they don't care, if they don't spend that time to reply back to you, you just know you need to cut them off from your life. But having said that, even though you cut them off, just means you don't have to spend all your free time with them. If they ever come to you with their back hurt or anything with them in a time of dire need, still go and help them. It makes you a better human being. It makes you the best version of yourself. You still have to go and help them. Why not? Because you have some grudge against them? Are you going to take that grudge to your deathbed? That's not going to do anything for you except make you a worse version of yourself. You don't want to be a 30-something, 40-something, 50-something year old person with all this pent-up aggression about all the people around you, about minute things that build up over time. Just let them go. Take time. Breathe in, breathe out, meditate, and find who you really are at the core. You're not a mean person. People are here to be loved and to cherish one another. Our memories are all that we have when we go. So why not make the best memories that you have and make the best of the world around you? One last thing that I'm going to leave you off with tonight is just realize that even though you might be filled with a room full of strangers, whether it be a class, whether it be a work, whether it be a gym environment, be kind to those strangers, because you don't know them, you don't know what they know about you. Having said that, like, you could, or they could come off to you as the douchiest person in the world or the nicest person in the world, and that's a good thought to have, but you don't want to judge a book by its cover. You don't want to judge a person by not knowing who they really are. So, if anything, being polite to them, give them compliments. If you like their shoes, tell them, hey bro, hey girl, I like your shoes. And no matter what, if it's a nice compliment coming from the heart, it's gonna make their day better, and if not, it'll make your day better in a way, and you're like, wow, I feel so good that I gave that person a compliment. So I guess the premise of what I'm trying to say is always be there for someone, always be kind to someone. There's no reason for all this hate in the world. There's so much hate, and we need to stop creating this hate. Just be the best version of yourself that you can be. Have a great night, peace, love, and just keep going through whatever you're going through.